Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I am coming to you live from Walter Brown Arena on the campus of Boston University in Boston, Massachusetts. Here to bring you live coverage of today's high school varsity boys hockey contest between the visiting Redhawks of Natick High School and the hosting Brookline High Warriors. Should be an exciting matchup today between these two Bay State Conference rivals. As you can see, the Zamboni making its last laps around the ice before the players come on out. A reminder, as always, if you end up enjoying this live stream, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And if there's anything you'd like to say to me or to the other fans watching, I encourage you to say it either in the live chat or through email. As you can see, my email on the bottom right corner of your screen. And now the players coming out onto the ice. Here come the Brookline Warriors. The Warriors have been hitting a bit of a skid lately. They have lost 6 straight, leaving them at a record of 3-9-2. The most recent Division I power rankings that came out yesterday had them ranked 37th in Division I, so outside of the state tournament playoff picture looking in. And they're hoping for a big result here today to get them back on track. And meanwhile, the Natick Redhawks, who have just come out, they currently stand with a record of 6-9. They've been on a bit of a skid themselves, have lost 3 of their last 4. But if the season were to end today, they would be in the playoff picture, having been ranked 30th in the latest Division I rankings that came out yesterday. So let's take a look at the rosters coming in to today's contest, and we'll start over here on our right with the visiting Natick High Redhawks. Going in order of jersey number for Natick, first we have a junior goalie, number 1, Evan Hyman. Next, a senior defenseman, number 2, Brady Kane. A junior defenseman, number 3, Jason Cohen. A junior defenseman, number 4, Tate Cogliano. A sophomore forward, number 5, Michael Zahornacki. A sophomore forward, number 6, Joe McDonnell. A junior forward, number 7, Sam Hubbard. A senior defenseman and captain, number 8, Jack Byrne. A freshman forward, number 9, Parker Boyce. A senior forward, number 10, Cam McCarthy. A senior defenseman, number 11, Miles Beatty. A senior forward and captain, number 12, James Schneer. A junior forward, number 13, Ben Vos. A junior defenseman, number 15, Alex Mastrangelo. A senior forward, number 16, Robert Medura. A junior forward, number 18, Alex Peck. A senior forward, number 19, Caleb Stevens. A sophomore defenseman, number 20, Will Fair. A sophomore defenseman, number 21, Jonathan Chase. A junior forward, number 22, Ethan Chambers. A senior defenseman, number 24, Ryan Lucenta. A sophomore forward, number 25, Braden Homer. A senior goalie, number 30, Jeff Tavares. A junior goalie, number 35, Cameron Canoni. And a senior forward and captain, number 44, Lou Zadra. Head coach of the Natick High boys hockey team is Carl Infanger. So that is the roster for Natick. Now we move over to our left to take a look at the hosting Brookline High Warriors. Going in order of jersey number, first off, we have a sophomore forward, number 2, Jack Herman. A freshman forward, number 3, Ricky Ace. A senior defenseman and captain, number 4, Noah Gurdon. A sophomore forward wearing either number 6 or 24, Greg Aptekman. A junior forward, number 7, Connor Erdman. A senior forward, number 8, Tommy May. A junior forward, number 9, Max Guo. A junior forward, number 10, Jace Gungadarin. A senior forward, number 11, Seth Walpowitz. A senior forward and captain, number 12, Henry Ames. A junior forward and captain, number 13, Grady Ames. A freshman forward and defenseman, number 14, Preston Bayless. A sophomore forward, number 15, Aton Kate. A junior forward, number 16, Alex Lynn. A freshman defenseman, number 17, Jameson Young. A junior defenseman, number 18, Thomas O'Brien. A junior defenseman, number 19, Ryan Wilson. A sophomore forward, number 21, Owen Lacey. A junior defenseman, number 23, Dylan Katz. A junior goalie, number 30, Jack O'Connor. And a sophomore goalie wearing either number 31 or number 1, Craig Haas. Head coach of the Brookline High boys hockey team is Anthony Sarno. So those are our two teams coming into today. We've got our first notes in the live chat already from James Wilson. Go Warriors, go Ryan Wilson. Scranton is rooting for you. And from Marlene Lyons, go Warriors, go Dylan Katz from Michigan. Happy to see you guys tuning in, continuing to support your favorite team and your favorite players. Remember, folks, if you'd like to give a shout out like James and Marlene already have, whether it be just to the team in general or to your favorite player, I encourage you to do so. You can do it in the live chat, or if you're not comfortable with the live chat, you can do it through email. Warriors versus Redhawks. Bay State Conference action here at Walter Brown. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, and you are watching Brookline High Hockey.
Racing back the other way, and it scores! Fighting for it now, pass through, and Visnicki somehow stopped by O'Connor. How on earth? Cat behind the boards, and a shot, score! The man, the myth, the legend, the Hank Ames! Pass it back to Young. Young winds, fires, deflected, up in the air, knocks, and Connor Erdman ties it up!
All right, the last seconds tick off of the pregame clock. My apologies if that music for the intro video came in a little hotter than usual. I forgot to adjust the audio settings when I was setting that up last night. That's my fault. But now, with the pregame clock expired, we set up for our starting lineups, national anthem, and opening puck drop. You can see on the bench Brookline's number 21, Owen Lacey. He suffered an injury in the St. Mary's game. That was back on January 17, 2 weeks later, and still not back, but at least he's able to show up on the bench. So hopefully he is able to recover sooner rather than later. First starter for Natick, number 3, Jason Cohen. Next up is number 20, Will Fair. Next is number 12, James Schneer. Number 6, Joe McDonnell. Number 18, Alex Peck. And in goal, number 1, Evan Hyman. Now the starters for Brookline. First up, number 4, Noah Gurdon. Number 17, Jamison Young. Number 7, Connor Erdman. Number 10, Jace Gungadarin. Number 13, Grady Ames. And in goal, number 1, Craig Haas. All right, we've got our starting lineups. We've played the national anthem. We will soon get the opening puck drop here at Walter Brown Arena. A fresh 15 minutes on the clock for the first of 3 periods of this Bay State Conference matchup between local rivals Brookline and Natick. I always say it's always a thriller whenever these two schools face off in any sport. You know, I honestly think the rivalry between Brookline and Natick is kind of underrated. I know that the headlining rivalry for Brookline is their rivalry with Newton North. But I always say don't sleep on the other Bay State Conference rivalries, especially the rivalry with Natick. These two teams always bring their best when going up against each other. And a lot of times, you know, these teams, even across different sports, will line up in similar spots in terms of how their teams are developing, and it can make for some really thrilling matchups. So here we go. Ames versus Peck on the puck drop. Brookline versus Natick. Here we go. Off the opening puck drop, it's pushed back to the Natick end. Will Fair pushes it across to the Brookline end where it's taken by Noah Gurdon. Gurdon skating with it through the neutral zone, pinned to the boards by Peck. And now a scrum along the boards with multiple players. It's pushed down to the Brookline end where it's taken by Jamison Young. Off the boards, gets to Gurdon. Gurdon backhand shovel to the neutral zone. It's knocked right back by Jason Cohen. Gurdon's pass misses, knocked right back, and it's going to be covered up by Haas. So we'll have a face-off in the Brookline end. Face-off won by Natick, pushed around the boards by Fair. Now a pin to the boards, gets it into the corner where it's taken by number 6, Joe McDonald. Pass along the back, knocked aside by Thomas O'Brien. Greg Aptekman touches it along the boards and into the Natick end where it's recovered by Cohen. A long pass misses Peck, but does get to number 12, James Schneer. He shovels it into the Brookline end while Natick commits to a line change. And McDonald with some good disruption of Aptekman along the boards to help Natick complete that line change cleanly. Pass to the slot, nobody there, and Dylan Katz lifts it out. Goes off the skate of number 7, Sam Hubbard, and is recovered by number 8, Jack Byrne. Now a backhander moves into the neutral zone where a player lost his footing. Hubbard approaching, Hubbard trying to juke around but cannot. He gets tangled up with the defense, and now that shot pushed wide by number 15, Alex Mastrangello. Jason Goddard battling, stays on his feet despite the body check and passes it back to Young. Young tries to shovel it forward, no dice, and it's cleared out. Sent right back by Gurdon, and that's going to go off the boards and all the way down for an icing. Brookline with a record of 3-9-2 coming into this one. They've lost 6 straight, and the last 3 have been particularly brutal as they've been outscored 18-3 over those last 3 losses to Braintree, Weymouth, and Walpole. A lot of players go down to the ice off that scrum, and that long shot was blocked. Now it's roped around the boards. Gurdon recovers it in the corner, wraps it around. Eitan Kate takes it along the boards. He's scrumming for it, manages to push it out to the neutral zone. It's going to be chased down by Byrne. Byrne looking around, kisses it off the glass, and it's sent right back to him. Long pass up, finds Zadra. Zadra's pass too far, and it's going to be covered up by Haas. Good stick skill by Haas, as it looked like initially he was planning to leave that for a teammate so that they wouldn't have to rely on the face-off, but then an offensive player from Natick was closing quick, so he pulled that puck back in and covered it up. Off the face-off, O'Brien sends it around. Aptekman takes it, blocked by McDonald. Pass back to Schneer, across to Peck, disrupted by the defense of Thomas O'Brien. Out to the neutral zone where it's pushed back in by number 4, Tate Cogliano. O'Brien gets to Henry Ames, now intercepted it by Peck. Peck disrupted by Ames, but he does push it forward. O'Brien slides it over to the net. Haas turns it aside, gets to Katz, who gets a pass up to Guo despite the check. Now a long shot blocker save made by Hyman. Up against the boards, the attempted clear is stopped by O'Brien. Pass forward, finds Guo. Go, shot blocked. Guo still fighting for it, couldn't get a stick on it. In the corner, it's recovered by Grady Ames, but now stolen back by Peck. Peck skating through the middle, took a bit of a risk there, but it works out and he gets out to the neutral zone. Tapped forward by McDonald to prevent the icing as Natick commits to a full change. O'Brien across to Katz. Sends it back around to O'Brien and back to Katz. Katz now wraps it around. O'Brien again off the boards and forced out to the neutral zone where it is taken. Grady Ames off to the races. Ames approaching and got tangled up with the defense. Couldn't get a shot off. Taken back by the Redhawks as they move the other way. Number 9, Parker Boyce, pass, finds Hubbard. Hubbard approaching, coming around the back. Pass back, finds a man, long shot saved by Haas and covered up. Jason Cohen with the long shot that time. Off some good skating from Sam Hubbard, leading to the nice pass back to the blue line. Now a Brookline end face-off, 11:05 on the clock here in the first period, as you can see on the scoreboard cam in the bottom right corner of your screen. Pass intercepted, Cohen, shot off the glove of Haas and wide of the net. Erdman pins it to the boards, pass dangerous, but it does complete to Gurdon. Gurdon often skating with it, gains the blue line, approaching, lost control of the puck as he was trying to get around Cohen. Recovers the puck, passes it back to the blue line to Erdman. Erdman weaves around one defender, tries a pass blocked by the skates of Cohen. Pushed around the back, and Hubbard tries to send it off the boards and ends up recovering it himself. But now a poke check gets back to Brookline. Erdman couldn't weave through. Blocked at the blue line by Gurdon. Shot high off the back of the net after going off the glass. Now Hubbard skating the other way. 3-on-2 rush. Hubbard does not go for a pass, settles in and lets the offense get set as he lifts a very high pass off the boards. Defenseman lost his footing but still managed to slide it up ice. Young tries to slide it back, but it's blocked. Now he wraps it around the other way. Byrne reinserts it, turned aside by Haas and taken by Gurdon. Gurdon trying to take advantage of a line change for Natick as he skates through the neutral zone. Gains the blue line as Brookline commits to a change. Gurdon shot, saved by Hyman. Great approach by the senior defenseman for Brookline, but couldn't get past Evan Hyman. Natick pushes it into the Brookline end. It's going to be taken by Haas. Pass over to Seth Walpowitz. Walpowitz sends it around the back. O'Brien and Zadra collide to get that puck. Now it's passed, gets to number 13, Ben Vose. Vose back to Zadra. His pass goes off the back of the net, sent back, and a long shot sails high. Off the boards, taken by Byrne. Pass gets to Vose. Vose coming around the back, tries to get a pass through. Zadra couldn't jam it past Haas. Now that one blocked, but taken by Herman. Lifted, blocked again by number 21, Jonathan Chase. Chase skates it down to the back, tries to pass for Zadra. Broken up by Herman. O'Brien wraps it around. And now a pass manages to get out to the neutral zone for Brookline. Knocked back by Byrne. And now it is taken by Thomas O'Brien. He's going to gain the blue himself, but mistimed with the skate. Max Guo couldn't get back, and that'll be an offsides. 8:40 on the clock here in the first period. No score as of yet. The two teams even in terms of shots on goal, although Natick might have a slight possession at clock advantage up to this point. Off the face-off, Natick lifts it off the glass. It's gloved down by Ryan Wilson. Now scrumming along the boards for it. It is pushed into the Brookline end by Schnarr. Gurdon sends it around the boards, blocked to the blue line by Peck. Peck's pass knocked down, pushed forward, gets to McDonald. McDonald looking around, weaving through defenders, pass to an open Peck. Peck fires a shot. It goes off the stick of Wilson and into the netting along the glass. That'll be a dead puck and a Brookline end face-off. And now they replace Peck with McDonald in the face-off circle. Face-off controlled briefly by Brookline, but then stolen by Schnarr, but then his pass stolen back by Gurdon. It's lifted out to the neutral zone, but Peck wins the race to the puck, pushes it the other way. Now taken by Gurdon, pass up to Gungadarin, but he lost it, and it's taken by Peck, but now disrupted and recovered by Grady Ames. Gains the blue, pass cross, Gungadarin approaching. Gungadarin couldn't get a clean shot off. Ames tried to recover it in the crease, but he gets checked, and now it's recovered by Peck. Peck skating up the far side, stolen. Grady Ames. Ames approaching. Ames pass, couldn't get the shot off, and Ames was blocked on his shot. Big get back defense there by Peck and Mastrangelo for Natick, as Brookline had a golden opportunity there off of Ames's takeaway. Katz sends it off the near side boards, gets to Henry. Ames, long pass misses, intercepted by Hubbard. Pass goes back to Fair, now stolen by Aptekman. Slid back to the Natick end, but then Fair gets it up to an open man. It's left for 25. Shot saved just barely by Haas. Almost got that one by him, but I think it touched just a piece of his glove and was redirected wide. Big chance coming from number 25, Braden Homer, but he couldn't capitalize. Now Fair skating with it, pinned to the boards by O'Brien. Several players scrumming for it. Fair takes it, backhand pass, disrupted by Guo. Recovered by Cohen at the blue line. Pushes it down to the back. Hubbard taking it. Skating around to the back. Pass cross, Fair. Fair shot, kicked aside, I think by Guo, as Henry Ames lifts a high one. And it's touched down by Cohen. Cohen lifts it out to the neutral zone. It's knocked back to the Natick end where it's taken by Hubbard as Brookline was in the midst of a line change. Hubbard rushing the other way. Shot saved by Haas. Big rebound chance. Shot saved by Haas. And it's recovered by Brookline. 2 big saves from Craig Haas. Now Noah Gurdon racing the other way. 2-on-2. Gains the blue. Weaves around the defense. Couldn't get a clean pass off as he was disrupted by Chase. Gurdon recovers the puck coming around the back, whiffs on the pass. It's knocked to the back end where it's taken by Byrne. Byrne slides it around. And it's taken now by number 5, Michael Zaranaki. Slides it down to the Brookline end where it's taken by Wilson. Wilson wraps it around the boards for Kate. Stolen away. And kicked up by number 13, I think. As Vose tries to jam it in. Zadra tried to recover the puck. No chance for either of them. And we've got a whistle stoppage as I think, was the net off its post? Are they calling a penalty? And it's not a penalty. I think the goal might have just gone off its post there. 5:23 on the clock. Still no score here between Brookline and Natick. Face-off controlled by Brookline, wrapped around the boards. Gets away from Gungadarin and is stolen briefly, but now after a hard check, it's taken by Grady Ames out to the neutral zone. Stolen back by Byrne, and Byrne lifts it into the Brookline end. We've got a whistle. This might be a penalty. Things were getting very physical through the neutral zone. And it's going to be against Natick. Number 13, Ben Vose, commits the game's first penalty. And Brookline now with a golden chance here with a 2-minute power play. Face-off controlled by Natick. Cohen wraps it around the boards, but it's going to be taken by Henry Ames. Ames looking pass through, misses. Erdman just skipped off his stick, and now it's taken the other way by Cohen. Cohen on the rush, taking it around the back, slides hard into the boards, and they're now going to call a penalty on Brookline. Brookline not a fan of that call, as I think they're going to call Noah Gurdon for tripping. I mean, it initially looked to me like Cohen lost his footing, but if Gurdon played a role in him losing his footing, then the ref's going to call that. So power play over for Brookline, 20 seconds in, and instead it'll be 1:40 of 4-on-4 as Noah Gurdon serves the 2-minute minor. Face-off won by Natick. Players get tangled up, recovered fair, long shot missed wide of the net, and it's recovered by Katz. Katz skating it out to the neutral zone. Katz walled at the blue line, and it's taken the other way by Peck. Peck approaching, he lost control, but gets a pass away. Shot is in. Will Fair off a nice assist from Alex Peck makes it a 1-0 game in favor of the Redhawks. So Brookline will now go back on the power play, although in this circumstance they certainly wish they weren't. Or no, they don't come out of the box in a 4-on-4 situation, I guess, because it technically wasn't a power play for Natick. The players stay in the box. So Will Fair, assisted by Alex Peck, with the 4-on-4 goal, makes it a 1-0 game in favor of Natick. Peck clears it out to the Brookline end off the boards. It's chased down by Katz. Cats pass misses, and it's taken by Peck. Disrupted by Jamison Young, and free puck taken by Guo. Guo rushing to the corner, lost control of the puck, and it's taken by Byrne. Byrne lost control of the puck, and he's pinned to the boards by Guo. Guo takes it, coming around the back pass, and Young just whiffed on the one-timer there. Now Hubbard taking it the other way with Peck on his left. Approaching shot disrupted by the defensive Cats. Hubbard recovers the puck, however. Turns around, tries a pass, blocked, I think, by the skates of Grady Ames. Cats pass off the boards, going to be intercepted by Hubbard. Pass back to Byrne, shot blocked by Young. But it's going to be pushed through the corner by McDonald. Sent across to Hubbard. Hubbard back to McDonald. Skating around from behind. Now sends it back. Long shot missed wide off the stick of Chase. Recovered by Byrne. He sends it wide. It's now a short power play for Natick. But now the penalty on Brookline ends. We're back at even strength as Gurdon skates out. Hubbard trying to weave his way through. Disrupted by Gurdon, fresh out of the box. Pushes it back. Chase gives it back to Hubbard. Off the boards to McDonald. McDonald slides it back to Chase. Chase, long insert, deflects. Goes wide of the net. Hubbard recovers. Hubbard shot saved by the body of Haas. And almost a juicy rebound for Byrne, but not quite. Young recovers, whips it to the neutral zone. Guo pinned up against the boards, and now it's taken by Byrne across to Chase. Chase launches it into the Brookline end, and that'll be icing. So a 4-on-4 goal for Natick, scored by Will Fair, assisted by Alex Peck, has the visiting Redhawks with a 1-goal advantage here with 2:10 left in the first period. Off the face-off, it's controlled by Natick. Off the boards, it is controlled, I think, by Byrne. By number 4. And Mastrangelo survives a hard check. But the puck stolen away by May, lifted into the Natick end, lifted back out by Mastrangelo. Pass gets across to Zadra. Zadra approaching, shot disrupted by Wilson. Into the corner they go. Scrumming for the puck. Vose was trying to jam it in but couldn't. Pass goes back to number 4, Cogliano. He sends for Zadra. Zadra sends one through the slot. They couldn't get a stick on it. Brookline trying to push it up ice but cannot. It's sent back around by number 23, who I don't have on my roster. I'll have to double check that in a second. Blocked at the blue line by Mastrangelo. Shot from Zadra, saved by Haas. Another shot disrupted and sent wide. May trying to clear it, but cannot. 23, a long shot caught out of the air by Haas. Number 23 is Jack McDonald. That was a name I didn't quite have on the roster I got off of Mass HS Hockey, but it was on the roster that they handed to us at the entrance here today. So face off, controlled by Cohen, insert intercepted by Cats. 1 minute remaining in the period. Cats can't clear. It's taken by Peck. Peck pinned to the boards by Erdman. They're scrumming for the puck. Recovered by McDonald. McDonald intercepted by Erdman. Erdman passed to an open Gungadarin. Gungadarin off and skating, dumps it into the Natick end. Trying to chase after it. Off the deflection, Erdman takes it, sends it around. Now Erdman pass disrupted and stolen. Hubbard taking it the other way. Pass misses McDonald, but he finds it off the boards. Shot saved by Haas. Rebound missed, and that shot from Peck missed. Cohen a shot, finds a target, could not jam it past Haas, as both Hubbard and McDonald were trying to jam that one in. And I think we're going to have a penalty called on Natick here. I think that's going to go against number 6, Joe McDonald. And so Brookline will end up with a segmented power play. These segmented power plays that bleed into another period tend to be disadvantageous slightly for the team on the power play, because it does mean starting a significant portion of your power play from center ice instead of starting it in the attack end. But this is going to be a power play for Brookline, about 15 seconds, 15.3 seconds here in the first period. Wait a second. No, it's staying 5-on-5. He's serving a 10-minute major for an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. And I think because the penalty took place during a dead puck, it's not resulting in a power play. It's going to stay 5-on-5. Off the face-off, Natick shot saved by Haas. Attempted clear, blocked by Cohen. His shot knocked down. And Brookline trying to race it out. They get it out to the neutral zone. It's sent back into the Brookline end as the last seconds tick away here in the first period. At the end of one, the score, the Natick High Redhawks 1, the Brookline High Warriors 0. Natick's goal scored by number 20, Will Fair, assisted by number 18, Alex Peck, in a 4-on-4 situation. And so that's where we will leave things for now. Natick ends the period with a 12-2 shot advantage over Brookline, as they got 10 unanswered shots on net. And they go into the break with the 1-0 advantage. Well, I'm going to take a break and mute the mic, but I'll be back with the second period. Stay tuned. Hello again, everybody. Thank you again for tuning in tonight. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, back on the mic here at Walter Brown Arena on the campus of Boston University in Boston, Massachusetts. Here to bring you the second period of today's high school varsity boys hockey contest between the visiting Natick High Redhawks and the hosting Brookline High Warriors. Natick with a 1-0 lead after one. A 4-on-4 goal scored by Will Fair, assisted by Alex Peck, has the Redhawks in the lead. And a 12-2 shot advantage for the Redhawks, one period in. And for Brookline, you know, the name of the game really is just crisper execution, particularly on their passing game. If you look back at the play that led to the 4-on-4 situation, Brookline was in a power play. They went for a pass through the middle that was just a little too hard, skipped off the stick of the intended target, and then was taken the other way by Natick's Jason Cohen, who then got tripped up, which resulted in the penalty call that made it 4-on-4 and then ultimately led to the Natick goal. And there were plenty of other missed situations like that. So we'll see if Brookline is able to adjust and improve. There is going to be a man in the penalty box for Natick. Joe McDonald serving the majority of a 2-minute major that he was called for at the end of the first period for an unsportsmanlike penalty. However, it is still 5-on-5. Natick moving it along the back and now trying to skate their way out into the neutral zone. Scrumming for it along the boards. It is taken by Natick. Pass finds a man. Spins off a defender, insert, redirected, but saved by Haas. Got a bit lucky there. I don't think he saw it, as number 12, James Schneier, redirected the initial shot by number 25, Braden Homer. But it went right off the pads of Craig Haas, as that high pass from Brookline could not be chased down by Aton Kate, and so Brookline is called for icing. Face-off goes back to Cohen. Now a pass down to the corner. Double teamed, but the puck is recovered. Approaching shot saved by Haas. Rebound recovered. Poke check by Dylan Katz. Disrupts the skating of number 9, Parker Boyce. Boyce skating around back to the blue line. Keeps the puck. Pass just misses Will Fair. Recovered by Hubbard along the back. Disrupted by Max Guo and ultimately taken by Thomas O'Brien. Pass lifted, and that's going to go for another icing against Brookline. A line change for both sides, as Natick goes to the line of Vose, McDonald, and Zadra. For Brookline, the forward line of Walpowitz, Erdman, and Herman. As a quick approach and a shot from Vose, point blank, saved by Craig Haas. As Brookline, just seconds after their previous shift, is now making a defensive line shift, bringing on Noah Gurdon and Jamison Young. Off the face-off, Vose, poke check back. Burns shot almost chopped and redirected, but it's turned aside. Blocker saved by Haas. Around the back, it's taken by Herman. Herman off the boards, intercepted by Vose and wrapped around. Gurdon takes it, but he gets twisted around by a hit from Zadra. Pass went to Vose from McDonald, but the shot just barely disrupted by the defense. Zadra approaching, shot saved by Haas. Walpowitz sends it off the back, and it's taken by Gurdon. Gurdon lost control of the puck. McDonald trying to steal it, but Gurdon stays with it. Pass goes up to Erdman, and now deflects all the way down to the Natick end as the puck on its side kind of rolled down there. Attempted clear, stopped by Grady Ames. He gets pinned to the boards. Sent off the backboards, but it's taken again by Ames. Ames staying with it despite the pressure. Pass sent through, but redirected wide of the target and taken back the other way. Schnarr approaching, couldn't get a shot off, disrupted by Gurdon. Gurdon gets it to Gengadarin. Gengadarin lifts it forward. Young's pass intercepted, but the defenseman lost his stick, and now Brookline is going to be called for the slash. Jonathan Chase was trying to skate with it, and his stick got knocked out of his hands by Eitan Kate, and he'll now serve a 2-minute minor. So now a power play for Natick as they already have a 1-0 lead. Byrne pass, barely collected and passed back to Byrne from Boyce. Now around to Peck and over to Hubbard. Hubbard back to the point to Peck. Peck fires, blocked and turned aside by Henry Ames. It's recovered in the corner by Hubbard. Hubbard pass down low. Now back to Hubbard. Back to the point to Peck. Peck, quick pass to Byrne. One-timer deflects down, I think off a teammate, as it's lifted out by Brookline. Stopped by Hyman. Pass up to Peck, being pursued by Guo. Peck stops behind his own net. Now skates out with it. Gains the blue himself, weaving around the defense, disrupted at the last second by the defense of Katz and O'Brien. Hubbard now at the puck. Shot blocked by the skates of Guo, and Brookline commits to a half of a forward line change. That's now stolen by Erdman. Pass over to Ames. Ames shot, score! Grady Ames on the shorthand off the assist from Erdman. Let's check out the replay. You can see Ames coming off the bench there at the corner of your screen, and then just a nice steal off the boards by Erdman. Passes over to Ames, who is unaccounted for, and Ames made the most of that wrister there as Brookline ties it up. The shorthanded goal scored by Grady Ames, assisted by Connor Erdman. And it's still a power play for Natick, so Brookline can still clear without an icing call. As Will Fair now controls the puck. Pass gets up to Schnarr. Schnarr poke check. Lost it along the boards. Homer recovers. Pass across to Cohen. Cohen over to Fair. Long pass just out of reach for Schnarr. Three players collide hard into the boards. Schnarr comes out with it, approaching, knocked away, and Erdman clears it out to the neutral zone. Fair skating with it, pass up to Schnarr. Schnarr lifts it down to the backboards. Scrumming along the back. It's taken by Fair. As back on even strength, out comes Kate. Shot whipped and saved by Haas. Haas dives on it. They're not blowing this one dead. Now they're blowing it dead. So no 5-on-5 goals from either team as of yet, but also no power play goals as of yet. Natick scored on a 4-on-4. Brookline scored on a 4-on-5. So I guess the magic number is just to have 4 players on the ice for both teams so far, as we are now tied at 1. Chasing down the puck is Cogliano, and now it gets pushed into the Brookline end where it's going to be covered up by Haas. A note of cheer in the live chat from Marlene Lyons. Great going, Brookline. In celebration of that goal scored on the shorthand by Grady Ames. Coming around the back, couldn't jam it home. Off the ricochet, it's recovered, backhander missed wide. Zadra battling around the back, disrupted, and Ames pushes it into the corner to get it away from number 16, Robert Medura. Out to the neutral zone it now goes. Medura, pass across to Cogliano. Now a pass gets up to Zadra. Zadra's shot disrupted by Gurdon as they scrum along the boards for the puck. It gets lifted way high. And now in the neutral zone, it's pushed into the Natick end. Recovered by Cogliano as Brookline commits to a change. Pass goes up to Medura. Medura lifts it to the Brookline end, and they call icing. Nine minutes and 13 seconds on the clock here in the second period. We are tied at 1 apiece. Face off, won by Natick. Mastrangelo sends it around the back. Cogliano moves it up to Schnarr. Schnarr skating. Pass barely gets to Mastrangelo and sent up to Boyce and given to Peck. Peck weaving around the defense. Peck, pass wide open, shot, score! James Schnarr puts Natick back on top. And I mean, after a play like that, what can you really say? That was just excellent puck movement by the Redhawks. I mean, the initial pass from Schnarr across to Mastrangelo, almost intercepted by an aggressive forecheck from Brookline, but then they quickly moved it up ice to Boyce, to Peck, and then back across to a wide-open Schnarr as they got the 2-on-1 rush and executed on it perfectly for the go-ahead score. James Schnarr assisted by Alex Peck and Parker Boyce. So Peck gets his second assist of the day, having assisted on both of Natick's goals so far. And now Peck taking it through the neutral zone. His pass intercepted by Aptekman. And now, whoa! A hard check right by the penalty box doors has the Natick bench excited. As that door clearly not fully secured. As Aptekman got sent right through the door. And so it'll simply be a center ice face-off. Wasn't a penalty, just a faulty stadium there. As now a penalty is going to be called on Brookline. And Noah Gurdon will be going to the penalty box now. As Natick already with a 2-1 lead now gets a chance on the power play. And so Gurdon going to serve a 2-minute minor for elbowing. Now Brookline did score the last time they were on the shorthand, but it's not something you want to rely on. Boyce across to Byrne. Byrne disrupted, and Erdman pokes it back into the neutral zone where it's taken by Peck. Peck being pursued by Grady Ames. Peck skating with it, disrupted around the blue line. Grady Ames lifts it off the boards. Erdman corrals it past to Ames. Ames another chance off the crossbar as it flies up in the air. Ames tried to knock it down, but it's recovered by Peck. Peck skating, pass, misses, blocked at the blue line by Katz, but then pushed forward by Schnarr. Now a hard hit back the other way by Thomas O'Brien as it's parked by Hyman and taken by Byrne. Brookline committed to a bit of a line change. Byrne, pass across to Peck. Peck disrupted, stolen by Henry Ames. Off a substitution, Max Guo trying to approach, tries to get a pass through. Henry Ames almost pushed through Schnarr, but could not. Ames coming around the back, sends it back. Dylan Katz winds, fires, missed it. Turned aside by Hyman. Brookline looking better on the shorthand than they do on even strength. This is crazy. Peck rushing with it. Disrupted. Turns around. Setting up in the corner, looking for somewhere to go. Sends it down to Boyce. Boyce sends it across. Schnarr lost the puck, poked at from behind as Katz lifts it off the glass. It's taken by Peck. Pass up to Boyce. Back across. Cohen's shot blocked and still sifting through, and it's pushed in. Parker Boyce with the power play goal. And after all that, Natick does score on the advantage and goes up 3-1. Brookline so close to answering back on the shorthand again. Would have tied it up at 2, but an unfortunate bounce off the crossbar. And then just some unfortunate bounces as Brookline was unable to get a clean stick on that puck to clear it out of the crease. And Parker Boyce tracked it well and just barely pushed it past Craig Haas. Zadra's backhander saved, and a rebound is scored immediately. Seconds later, Ben Vose. And that makes it 4-1 Natick in the blink of an eye. Parker Boyce and Ben Vose scoring within seconds of each other. And just like that, it's a 4-1 lead for the Redhawks with 6:14 on the clock here in the second. And off the face-off, it is corralled by Gingotteren. Pass gets away from Grady Ames, and it's lifted across by Cohen. And then over to Fair. Back to Cohen and back to Fair. Fair sends it up the line, blocked by Gurdon. Battling through, it's Vose. Vose almost broke through, but disrupted at the last second by Gurdon. Vose gets past to Zadra. Zadra back around to Vose. Gurdon gets a pass up to Kate. Kate pushes it into the Natick end. Cohen gets there first. Cohen fights off the check from Kate. Sends it off the boards now, taken by Kate. Pass through, too much traffic, and Gotterin couldn't knock it in. Off the rebound, Schnarr's pass misses McDonald, and that's going to go for icing. So a tough turn of events for Brookline. They missed a potential game-tying shorthander off the crossbar, and then about 30 seconds later, they find themselves trailing by 3 goals instead of 1. Momentum really can just shift just like that in hockey, as Boyce almost had a chance there, but lost control of the puck. Aptekman long pass deflects off either a stick or a skate. Knocked back and forth. Peck dumps it into the Brookline end. Controlled by O'Brien. O'Brien couldn't get the pass off. Now they're scrumming along the boards. O'Brien recovers. Sends it around the boards. Scrumming. It's knocked back to Schnarr. Pass just gets away from Peck, and it's desperately covered up by Haas. Off the face-off, Mastrangelo controls it, pass down. And now stolen away by Brookline. And Dylan Katz got flattened there, but then recovering it in the neutral zone is Grady Ames, knocked loose. And now scrumming along the boards for it. Kicked into the Natick end, but it's taken. Now the attempt to clear blocked by Gurdon, and now Gungarin controls it. Shot saved by Hyman. A chaotic rush from Brookline. Jace Gungarin had a chance for a wrister, tried to send it through the 5-hole, but was stopped by Evan Hyman, who I've heard is getting his first start in net today, as the normal starting goalie for Natick is kind of banged up right now. Hasn't been challenged too much, just 6 shots on goal from the Warriors so far, as compared with Natick's 21. Off the face-off, corralled by Brookline. Redirected, Gurdon recovers, gets past to Erdman. Erdman sends it across, and they could not redirect it. Rebound chased down, Henry Ames, pass back, long shot, missed wide from Katz. Recovered by Gurdon. Gurdon approaching, Gurdon still approaching, shot. Redirected high and over the crossbar. Might have been saved by Hyman there, I think. Pass goes back, Katz back down to Henry Ames. Pass through, whiffed on the one-timer. Guo had a chance. Erdman could not block it at the blue line. Brookline thought he was able to preserve it, but he could not. Three minutes and 30 seconds left in the second period. Natick leads Brookline 4-1. Brookline showing some urgency at least, while trailing by 3. Off the face-off, it's going to be chased down deep in the Brookline end by Gurdon. Gurdon off and skating with it, lifts a pass, goes off the back of the skate of Guo. Erdman tried to push it along, but it was blocked. And now along the boards, O'Brien manages to push it around. Ames faked on the clear, now lifts it high, and it goes through the neutral zone. Missed it with the hand. Erdman approaching, shot, save, rebound, missed wide by Guo. A golden chance, and he missed it just wide of the net. Brookline trying to stay on the attack. Guo takes it around the back, pass back. O'Brien kind of whiffed on the shot there, but they whiffed on the clear. It does now get out to the neutral zone, and it's pushed forward by Vos. Vos approaching, shot wide off the boards. Kept on the attack by McDonald. Against the boards, it's taken by O'Brien. O'Brien off the boards, missed, intercepted. Now stolen, recovered by Erdman. Pass gets up to O'Brien, now up to Grady Ames on the rush. Stops, fires, saved by Hyman. Brookline has put together a couple of nice pushes here at the end of the second period as they are desperately trying to get back in this game. But they have not been able to find home so far. Evan Hyman with a couple of nice saves late here in the second. Attempted clear, stopped by Katz. Katz wraps it around the boards. Against the boards, Natick takes it, but met by Gurdon. Now scrumming for the puck, and now it's taken out by the Redhawks. Homer backhands it along to Haas, who covers it up. And oh, that might have been a bit of a late check there from Gurdon. Homer was within the vicinity of the goalie. And it's Homer that's going to go to the box, so clearly the officials did not take kindly to how close he got to Craig Haas after the play was over, but they also didn't take too kindly to how Noah Gurdon responded to that, because he's also going to the box. So one player from each side going to the box. However, those penalties committed after the puck was blown dead, so it's not a 4-on-4, it just stays 5-on-5. Face off, controlled by Natick. Cohen sends it around. Wilson getting hard checked into the boards, manages to wrap it around, but it is taken off the boards. Long shot by Peck is blocked by Katz. Katz skating with it through the neutral zone. Gains the blue himself. Chase it down. Pass goes back to Henry Ames, but his pass intercepted by Peck. Peck trying to go on the 2-on-1 rush, but could not. Blocked by the skates of Erdman. Now he just launches one into the Brookline end, and it's left for Wilson. Sends it off the glass. Missed by Erdman, taken by Peck. Peck approaching. Backhand pass intercepted. And stolen away from Katz by Peck as Katz was trying to take it the other way. Off the near side boards, taken by Schnerin, and off, either an offsides or a penalty. I assume an offsides. And it will be an offsides call, so we'll have a neutral zone face-off here with 1:01 left to go in the period. Off the face-off, controlled by Brookline. Young trying to push it along, and that does cause an offsides call. So another neutral zone face-off, this time from the far side. Scrumming for it, and Grady Ames comes out with it. Grady Ames approaching, shot saved by Hyman. Aided by the defense of Cogliano as he recovers it and passes it up to Vose. Pass just out of reach for McDonald. The clear recovered by Mastrangelo, moved along by McDonald. Now a pass intercepted. Vose shot, missed wide. Vose recovers, pass gets to Zadra, but his pass disrupted. And Brookline tries to clear but could not. McDonald still forcing it, pass through to the slot. Nobody there except Warriors, and just barely they almost lost it, getting tangled up with each other. And Brookline couldn't time that approach correctly. I think Grady Ames was expecting a pass from Eitan Kate, which did not come. And so you saw Ames just doing everything he could to try and stop his forward momentum, and just could not, and that'll be an offsides. 15 seconds left here in the second period. 4-1 the Natick lead. Push down in the Natick end. Cogliano pinning it to the boards in the closing seconds. Poked out and lifted up high off the ceiling. And I don't think I've ever seen that before, but they're actually going to call a dead puck because it bounced off the ceiling. Boy, that's the kind of stuff I usually see when I'm covering a volleyball game, not hockey. But the result is going to be a Natick end face-off with 3.3 seconds left in the period. Brookline might have time for one more shot if they cleanly win this face-off, which they do not. Cleared out to the neutral zone, and that will end the second period. End of two, Natick 4, Brookline 1. The Warriors were able to get on the board off of this shorthanded goal by Grady Ames, assisted by Connor Erdman. But since then, it's been nothing but misfortune for the Warriors. Some near-missed shots and 3 unanswered goals allowed to the Redhawks. 1 each from Parker Boyce, Ben Vose, and James Schneer. During this second intermission, I'd like to direct your attention to some helpful links in the description section of this video. At the top of the description section, you can find the link to the official Venmo account for the Friends of BHS Hockey Booster Club. If you would like to support Brookline High boys hockey, you can follow that link and donate some money there. And then below that, you can see a link and phone number for our local charity spotlight, the Brookline Food Pantry. The Brookline Food Pantry provides groceries to Brookline residents in need of food assistance. The pantry has been serving an average of 650 households each week ever since the start of the pandemic back in 2020. Brookline Food Pantry is fighting the good fight against hunger in our community, and they are always looking for more people willing to lend a hand, whether through monetary donations, direct food donations, or volunteers in the pantry. Food donations can be made at United Parish Church at 210 Harvard Street in Brookline on Wednesdays and Fridays from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Monetary donations can be made online at the food pantry's website, brooklinefoodpantry.org. You can go online or call 617-800-5339 for more information about how you can volunteer with the pantry and help feed your community. Once again, brooklinefoodpantry.org or call 617-800-5339. And once again, you can find all that information in the description section down below. Second intermission, Natick 4, Brookline 1. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I'm going to take a break and mute the mic, but I will be back for the third and final period. Stay tuned. Hello again, everybody. Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan back on the mic here at Walter Brown Arena on the campus of Boston University in Boston, Massachusetts. Here to bring you coverage of the third and final period of tonight's high school varsity boys hockey contest between the Brookline High Warriors and the Natick High Redhawks. The visiting Redhawks sporting a 4-1 lead off the back of 3 goals scored in that second period. 1 goal each from James Schnarr, Parker Boyce, and Ben Vos. This after Brookline had tied things up on a shorthanded goal by Grady Ames, assisted by Connor Erdman. One last period to decide things. Brookline was starting to generate some offensive momentum in the last minutes of the second period, but couldn't get a shot past Natick goalie Evan Hyman. And I mean, Brookline's going to need to get at least 1 goal back if they want to get within the 2-goal range that's typically considered the conventional wheelhouse for, you know, pulling your goalie and going full aggressive in the last couple minutes. Fresh 15 on the clock. We still got 2 players serving some major penalties left over from the second period. Brookline's Noah Gurdon and Natick's Braden Homer. As here we go in the third period, Dylan Katz lifts it to the neutral zone off the deflection. It is taken by Grady Ames into the attack end, and we're going to have a quick penalty on Natick. And Brookline going to get an early power play chance here as the major penalties on Gurdon and Homer conclude. This will be a new 2-minute minor penalty against number 12, James Schnarr. Can Brookline take advantage of this chance here? Off the face-off, it's a scrum and a clear, knocked down by Henry Ames, but it does slide out to the neutral zone. And I'm not sure what just happened there. Players got all tangled up. It wasn't a penalty or anything, but it is going to be a face-off. Oh, I think they might have called a high stick on Henry Ames, and that's why Ames was trying not to touch it. I see. So Ames was called for the high stick when deflecting that one down. And I think they just called Noah Gurdon for lifting that puck too high. So it'll be another face-off in the Brookline end. So Brookline off to a shaky start here on this power play as they're forced to take another face-off in their own end. And they send the face-off out to the near side where it's going to be taken by Parker Boyce, pinned up against the boards. Brookline knocks it loose, and Grady Ames loops it around to Connor Erdman. Erdman, pass off the boards, taken by Grady Ames, gains the blue line. Ames racing down to the corner, now coming around the back as his team gets set. Ames turns around from the point, launches a shot, and it's just barely redirected by Hyman. Recovered Henry Ames, pass misses Connor Erdman, and stolen by Parker Boyce, almost knocked back by Brookline, but now lifted out by Jason Cohen. Recovered in the Brookline end by Noah Gurdon. as Natick switched up their PK line. Gurdon gains the blue, takes off down the far side, sends a pass, nobody there, off the boards, taken by Ames. Grady Ames coming around the back. Pass back to Henry Ames, across to Gurdon. Gurdon looking, slides it across to Henry Ames. Ames skating down to the corner. Fakes the give to Erdman, comes around, shot disrupted, knocked down in the slot, and Grady Ames trying to jam it in, could not. It's covered up by Hyman. Still 28 seconds left on the power play. Brookline had a bit of a chance there, but they've got to generate a better look than that as they now switch to their second power play line with a forward line of Kate, Gungadarin, and Aptekman. Off the face-off, Kate tried to leave it for Aptekman, but it's stolen away by Homer. Homer skating it the other way on the shorthand. Heading down to the corner, hard check, he goes down. Oh, that looks dangerous. Oh no. Braden Homer down on the ice. He took a hard shot into the boards. And he is going to get looked at by the Brookline trainer. Couple of teammates hovering around Homer. Oh, gosh. You hate to see something like this happen. It doesn't matter which team you're rooting for. You never root for something like this. And Homer is skating off, being guided along a little bit by his teammates, Jack Byrne and Ethan Chambers. I mean, he's not being taken to the back. One can only assume the Brookline trainer probably checked him out for a possible concussion after he took that hard blow with his head going right into the boards there. But he seems okay, and hopefully long term that remains to be the case. We'll have a Brookline end face-off off of that injury stoppage. And they swap out Max Guo for Henry Ames in the face-off circle. Face-off is won by Ames. It goes back to Gurdon. Just seconds left on the power play. Gurdon skating through the neutral zone, lost control of the puck, and it's knocked away by Chambers. Now Peck controls it, and they're scrumming back and forth as we are now back at even strength. Schneier comes out of the box. Chasing it down along the back is Burns, slides it over to Chase. Guo comes in and takes it, passes it back to Gurdon. Gurdon slides it across. Henry Ames looking, leaves it for Dylan Katz, who passes it back up to Henry Ames. Slides it across the slot, nobody there. Taken off the boards by Chambers. Long clear is going to go for icing. So Brookline unable to capitalize on the power play. And a very chaotic power play at that. 12 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock here in the third period. Natick still leads Brookline 4-1. Off the face-off, Cogliano wraps it around the boards. O'Brien blocks the clear. Pass up is fought for. Gungadarin's shot saved along the post by Hyman. Good efforts by Thomas O'Brien and Jace Gungadarin to stay on the attack, but the defense wasn't really giving him much of an angle to shoot from. Off the face-off, it's knocked into the corner. Grady Ames slides it along. Gagarin gets their pass, misses O'Brien. A little too much bounce on that one, and now it's a race to the puck. Ryan Wilson gets there first off the boards. It's disrupted by Zadra, and Vos wraps it around. Racing after it, Cogliano, but now it's taken back by Wilson. Wilson weaves around one pass, misses. A lot of passes just missing for Brookline, and that one is going to go for an icing. I mean, Brookline is a relatively young squad. I mean, amongst their first two lines, both forward and defense, only 2 seniors among their top 10, Henry Ames and Noah Gurdon. So there's still time for Brookline to work on their game in the seasons to come, but for now, struggling a bit to fine-tune things. This one's stolen by Connor Erdman. He's off to the races. Got Henry Ames on his right. Shot, glove, save by Hyman. A bit hard to control the height of your shot when you're going that fast, but it might have behooved Erdman to go a little lower with that shot to leave room for a potential rebound by a crashing Henry Ames, but alas, the glove save by Hyman prevents a score there. Off the faceoff, it's controlled by Gurdon, slid across to Katz. Katz insert, turned aside by the stick of Hyman and goes up into the netting, and it'll be another Natick end faceoff. The Brookline offense has looked much better, a lot more aggressive since the late second period, since they fell behind by 3 scores, but still haven't had a chance to score their second goal. Cohen wraps it around, gets to Boyce. Boyce disrupted along the boards, but gets a pass up to Peck. Backhand pass intercepted by Katz. Pass over to Gurdon. Shot saved by Hyman. Potential rebound knocked away by Fair. Henry Ames tries, knocked by Peck, but Henry Ames still battling to keep it on the attack. Scrumming along the boards. The attempted clear blocked by Gurdon, but now out of the scrum comes Peck. Stolen away by Gurdon, slid across to Katz. Pass intercepted by Peck. Peck gains the blue line. Stuffed up against the boards, but stays with the puck. Pass gets through, but couldn't be scored by Chambers. Pass goes back to Peck. Peck turns around, looking shot. Redirected wide. Rebound chased down by Erdman. Erdman slides it along to Gurdon. Gurdon turns around, pass blocked by Chambers, but Gurdon on the second effort gets it to Katz. Katz off the boards. Erdman couldn't corral it. Out of the scrum, it slides over to Haas, and Haas covers it up. .10:05 on the clock here in the third and final period. Still a 4-1 advantage for the Redhawks. Off the face-off, Byrne controls it. Off the boards, loops around. Chambers pass back, shot saved by Haas, point blank. Off the shot from Zaorski. Now, Aptekman gains the blue line but loses his footing. Byrne wraps it around to Chase, stolen away by Grady Ames. Ames approaching, shot saved by Hyman. Recovered by Chambers. Chambers disrupted along the back. Ames with a hard shot. He takes the puck. Skating around in the corner. Staying with it. Draws a penalty and a hard check into the boards. And Brookline going to go back on the power play. Number 22, Ethan Chambers, going to the box. And Brookline with another power play chance as Chambers will serve the 2-minute minor. Face-off won by Natick and whipped around the boards. Blocked in the neutral zone by Gurdon. Henry Ames skating up with it, gains the blue, weaving around, approaching, shot, save, Hyman. The rebound redirected back. Long shot goes off the crossbar after a brief blocker redirect by Hyman. Gurdon pass up to Guo. Guo in the corner, turns around. Looking, pass blocked, might have whiffed on it. Battling for it, still scrumming for it. Grady Ames comes out with it and resets the play. Looks around, shoots, missed wide. Rebound recovered Henry Ames. Henry Ames' shot saved by Hyman. Clear goes off the glass and down to the Brookline end as Henry Ames controls it. Long pass gets away from Noah Gurdon, trying to chase after it, but he gets pinned to the boards. Fair tries to clear, but it's stopped by Henry Ames. Henry Ames skating up, gets a pass up to Gurdon, but Gurdon with limited space to work. Pass, just whiffed by Connor Erdman on the one-timer. Might have been slightly redirected by the defense. Grady Ames pass misses Erdman, but along the boards it is across the blue line, and offsides called. Noah Gurdon thought he had a chance on the approach, but he crossed the blue line just a bit before the puck did. .40 seconds left on the penalty as Brookline sends out their second power play unit. Off the face-off, it's whipped into the Natick end by Gengadarin. Around the back, the attempted clear blocked, and Kate couldn't quite corral it. Fair trying to clear it, surrounded by Kate, and Gengadarin lifts it off the glass. Recovered Thomas O'Brien. O'Brien approaching, shot blocked, shot missed wide. Gengadarin couldn't jam it in. Around the back, Cohen whips it around. O'Brien recovers, reinserts, couldn't be knocked down by Gengadarin. Now up against the boards. They're scrumming for it, and it is cleared out by Natick as Chambers skates out of the box. Another unsuccessful power play for Brookline as O'Brien lifts a long pass, knocked down in the neutral zone. Homer knocks it back. He's back out on the ice. That's nice to see after he went down hard earlier in the period. Sent into the Brookline end. Katz up against the boards with Boyce. Katz wins the battle, comes out with the puck. Skating with it. Pass lifted up. Another quick pass and just got away, and now almost a chance, but taken back by Katz in the neutral zone to prevent a rush during the midst of a line change. Lifts it into the Natick end. Battling against the boards, and Natick takes it. Cogliano gets a pass across to Mastrangelo. Quick touch pass gets to Peck. Peck couldn't fight through the defense. Slammed up against the boards. Peck still stays with the puck. Peck looking for where to go. Pass just redirected just away from a potential one-timer for McDonald. Around the boards it goes. Erdman manages to pass it back to Gurdon. Gurdon tries to whip it back to Erdman, but it's stolen away. Shot saved by Haas after the steal by Mastrangelo. I gotta say, I've been really impressed with Dylan Katz today. Dylan Katz is a guy that for most of the season has struck me as a classic stay-at-home defenseman, but for much of today he's operated as a two-way player. Part of that might have been necessitated by the major penalty that Noah Gurdon suffered. And speaking of Gurdon, he is coming off the ice looking kind of hobbled. Hopefully he is okay. The Brookline senior captain, who's been such a do-everything guy at such a high level for Brookline, easily one of, if not their best player this season. So hopefully he is okay. Zadra's shot missed wide. Into the boards. A pass almost got through. Now a shot couldn't get past Haas. Off the stick of Vos. Now another shot from McDonald blocked by O'Brien. Ricochets back to McDonald. O'Brien disrupting it, and it's taken by Gengadarin. Lifted out to the neutral zone. Knocked down by Grady Ames across the blue line. Ames chased it down. Ames approaching. Ames weaving through. Shot saved by Hyman. Put back, stopped and covered up by several Redhawks. Grady Ames also having himself an impressive day. He had the one shorthanded goal, and he's had a number of high-level offensive pushes, but just hasn't been able to get past Evan Hyman a second time. Noah Gurdon is back out on the ice for Brookline. So Warriors fans can breathe a sigh of relief about that. So this will be a Natick end face-off with 5:18 still to play here in the third period. I think Brookline might have looked like Brookline was discussing with the officials something about that last play. Off the face-off, controlled by Henry Ames, tapped back to Dylan Katz, back up to Henry Ames. Ames lost control of the puck. It's knocked back, but Dylan Katz, his hit knocked down by Erdman. Erdman shot blocked, recovered. Gurdon shot, missed high. Henry Ames recovers the rebound, takes it into the corner. He gets hit into the boards by a couple of Red Hawks, and now they're scrumming for it. And we're going to have a whistle blown for a dead puck there. Henry Ames took a couple of shots in the corner there. The first one from Ethan Chambers knocked Ames off his feet, and then coming in was Brady Kane, number 2. And now after the dead puck was blown, we got another face-off. This one sent into the corner. Recovered off the ricochet by Peck. Peck couldn't skate out with it. Henry Ames took it away, sends it around the corner. Poked along by Connor Erdman. Chased down Max Guo. Pass not there. Intercepted by Peck. Peck skating the other way. Stolen away by Katz in the neutral zone. Scrumming along the boards. Gets up to Erdman. Erdman shot. Missed wide. Erdman recovers his own rebound along the boards, and a helmet goes flying after some hard hits there. James Schneer lost his helmet. Like I said before this game started, don't sleep on the rivalry between Brookline and Natick. Even if the score hasn't been that close for much of the game, it's still been an intense contest back and forth between these two rivals. Off the faceoff, shot from Gurdon sails high. Chasing down the rebound, it is cleared out by Natick. Puck chased down by Gurdon. Gurdon sends it off the back for Gengadarin. Gengadarin sends it off the boards, finds Aptekman. Aptekman's pass across gets to Grady Ames. Grady Ames couldn't weave through 3 Natick defenders, and it's cleared out, but this will go for icing. .351 on the clock so far left in the third period. Still a 4-1 Natick lead. No goals here in the third period as of yet. Off the face-off. It's pushed to the back. Cohen controlling it, skating with it, sends it off the boards. Blocked by O'Brien, but then pushed through the neutral zone by Natick. Schneer on the rush. Stops. O'Brien whiffed on the clear. Boyce keeping it on the attack. Battling along the boards. The pass is taken by Peck. Peck skating. Turning around. Launches one towards the corner. Schneer takes it. Poked loose by Wilson. Moved along by Grady Ames. Gets to Wilson. Wilson looking. Pass gets up to Grady Ames. Ames taking off. Gains the blue. Looking. Pass across. Noah Gurdon couldn't redirect it. It goes wide. He tried another pass to the slot, but it's intercepted by Schneer. Brookline makes a defensive line change. as Natick clears it out to the neutral zone, skips past, and no icing there as it's taken by Katz. Long pass to take advantage of a line change. Henry Ames, they call offsides. That was a tough offsides call. Not entirely sure I agree with it, but I'm not looking from the same vantage point as the officials. And I always say you can disagree with the officials' call just so long as you respect that they're the ones that have to make that call. Kane pass through. An extra pass. Might have been one too many as that one missed wide. Off the scrum, Max Guo pushing up with it. Pass up to Henry Ames. Ames approaching, looking. Shot goes off the skate of Kane. Recovered by Katz. Insert turned aside by Hyman. Recovered along the back by Guo. Guo got tangled up with Kane there. Katz pushes it back around. Guo couldn't corral it. Kane pushes it up. Finds number 16, Robert Madura, who launches it into the Brookline end here in the last 2 minutes of this contest. Off the boards, Noah Gurdon skating with it now. Through the neutral zone, gains the blue line, approaching, pass across, shot, saved by Hyman. A golden chance for Connor Erdman, and he still couldn't get it past the Natick netminder. Brookline steals it back, but the push intercepted by Kane. Lifted out to the neutral zone, taken by Katz. Katz pass across to Noah Gurdon. Gurdon lost control of the puck, but gets it back, loses his footing, gets it back. Pass disrupted, knocked back, recovered, shot, redirected just wide. Recovered by Grady Ames. Pass gets away from Noah Gurdon. Chased down in the corner by Gingadarin, but Gingadarin couldn't get it cleanly. It's taken off the boards by Vos. Vos skating it the other way. Ben Vos looking, still looking. Shot goes, I think, up into the netting. 1:08 left in this one. Unless a miraculous comeback is made, Natick will win this one. Brookline still looking for their first multi-goal game since the loss to St. Mary's. They've been held to just 1 goal each in their last 3 games coming into this one, and they're still trying to score another goal. But Cogliano pushing through. Shot goes off the post. Cogliano recovers. Can't jam it in. It's taken back. O'Brien sends it around the boards. Gingadarin lost it. Taken back by O'Brien. O'Brien skating with it. Dumps it into the Natick end. 40 seconds left. O'Brien chasing it down himself. Pass it back. Aptekman winds and fires, blocked. Aptekman fires again, blocked. The attempted clear stopped by O'Brien, but forced through by Boyce. And his pass gets up to Peck. Peck racing in. Shot goes wide. Recovered by Schneier. Sends it to the corner. Peck skating around with it. Coming around the back. And they're just killing clock at this point as they send it to Boyce. Boyce slides it along. Just 5 seconds left. And the Natick Redhawks will secure the win against the Brookline Warriors as one last desperate long shot was turned aside by Hyman. And the Redhawks secure the win on the road against Brookline. The final score, the Natick Redhawks 4, the Brookline Warriors 1. Brookline outshot Natick 12-4 in that final frame, but could not get past first-time netminder Evan Hyman. And that is how it will end. Natick with goals coming from Will Fair in a 4-on-4 situation, from James Schneier at even strength, from Parker Boyce on the power play, and from Ben Vos immediately off the face-off after Boyce's goal for one last even strength goal. That made it 4 goals for Natick. Brookline getting their one goal on this play as we look back on Brookline's one scoring highlight. The shorthanded goal scored by Grady Ames, assisted by Connor Erdman. But that would not be enough. Natick improves to 7-9 on the year. Brookline suffers their 7th straight loss, falls to 3-10-2 on the year. And unfortunately for Brookline, it will now be impossible for them to secure a 500 or better record this season with 10 losses and 2 ties. Well, that's going to do it for this live stream. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Remember, if you enjoyed this live stream, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you to all those who brought the good vibes in the live chat today. If there is anything you'd like to say after the live stream is concluded, you can say it in the comment section down below. You can also go down below to the description section of this video where you can find some helpful links. There is a link to the official Venmo account for the Friends of BHS Hockey Booster Club if you would like to support the program financially. There is a link and phone number for our local charity spotlight, the Brookline Food Pantry, so you can find out how you can help support them and their good cause. Below that, there are some links related to me, which you can also see in the bottom right corner of your screen. My personal website, jessesports.com. If you would like to find out more about me, the freelance sports broadcasting services that I provide to various teams, and how you can commission those services for your favorite team. Or if you want to skip past all that and email me directly with any questions or requests you may have, you can do that. And you can follow me on Instagram, where I post highlights from previous live streams. But for this live stream, that is going to do it. Natick 4, Brookline 1. From Walter Brown Arena, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thank you all for watching, and have a good night.